You have a lot of superpowers as a service provider, but making more time is not one of them. In this video, I want to talk to you about how to productize your service, how to form it into a repeatable system that you can do over and over again. And if you're thinking that does not work for my people, Ashlyn, because they want this really high level of experience and expertise, well, that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video, because yes, it can be both and. It doesn't have to be either or. You can provide a productized service with an extremely high level of attention, what we call in my agency a white glove approach. You can do that. Hey there, if we've not yet met, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I'm a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist for creatives like you, because not knowing what to say shouldn't be the thing holding you back from making sales. Click a thumbs up if you totally agree, and if you love what you do as a service provider. I freaking love my craft. I adore it, but I also like being able to do it as many times as I can possibly fit in without wearing myself out in the process. If you agree, click like, and let's get into right away. Why would you even want to productize your service? Some of the best advice I followed since I started and I built my business in 2016 is build a business that is sellable. I don't know if I added on this tidbit at the end, but in my head, that phrase always goes, build a business that you could sell even if you never want to. Bonus tip, add this book to your nightstand, Built to Sell. I actually had been running my business like this for years and didn't read this book until last year, and it just kind of codifies everything that I'm going to tell you in this video. It's so great. It's pretty easy to read too. Okay, kind of like I alluded to at the beginning of this video, I will fight you on the fact that a productized service can still be high end and provide an extremely high-class experience for your customers to go through. A lot of people kind of shy away from the concept that your service can be productized or put into a system because you think that all of your clients are special snowflakes that need a custom, highly unique package, every single one of them. I felt like that before. I even operated like that when I started my business. The thing is, here's my first pro tip. You're not a freelancer, you're a business owner. So if you look at what you do as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, then you know that your time is money. You have a set number of slots that you can fill with your service. Thus, you need to know how long each thing takes down to the 15-minute increment. So know that I'm coming at these 7 reasons I'm about to give you from a standpoint of being a boutique copywriting agency that has dozens and dozens of client reviews over the years. And I don't know about you, but these seem pretty high touch to me. That's what we like to provide our clients. So yes, these 2 things are not interchangeable. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Okay, the first reason that you may want to productize your services is this. It'll enable you to calculate your time down to the hour or the 15-minute increment. Thus, you can then bang out the cost of goods for your service. Yes, you need cost of goods for the service. If you were just the business owner and not the service provider and you were paying somebody to execute this, you'd be shelling out the dough to them, so that would just be an expense. It would be a cost of goods. Well, the money's going to you, so it still matters in the cost of goods. Here's an action step here. If you've never done this before, go through every single step in your client services process and write down exactly to the 15-minute point. We use in my business, in the agency, we use a 0.25. So is it 1.25? That'd be an hour and 15 minutes. Is it 1.5? That'd be an hour and a half. Is it a 0.25? That would just be a 15-minute mark. Calculate exactly how long every step of the process takes, and then you can figure out how many hours you'll be able to dedicate to it. By the way, as I'm giving these tips, if you're interested in more about how I conduct and steward my time as a creative service provider, look down below. I have a program called The Art of Efficiency. It's relaunching soon. You can hop on the wait list. Number 2 reason you may want to productize your service, you're then able to promise exactly what you will provide this client with. This line is so super duper clear. The client knows exactly what is expected of you to submit to them as deliverables. So then they will know what could be extra. And when they have those questions, which they will, a lot of people like to add on to their packages, you then get to use a special little template I'm about to give you. But before I give it to you, no, this absolutely does not mean that you can't go above and beyond. I am a big fan of adding little surprise and delights along the way in a client journey. Like I said, we're all about the white glove experience over here. But as the business owner, you then get to operate like a business owner. That in the end is going to get the client an absolute better product. Don't forget, throughout this whole video, you are the expert. A lot of times people are coming to you with the idea of what they want, but you're the expert. You probably have a much better opinion and sound judgment on what they really need. A lot of times We can project what we want, but sometimes we don't really know what we need. That's up to an expert opinion to help us discern. That's you. I tease this. I'm gonna put over the side just a little snippet of a template that we have inside the copy bar. This is a piece of what we send out when somebody does come back to us and they say, oh my gosh, I actually love that idea. Let's add that on. Or I just had this great idea. Can we add that on? You need to have a template of copy ready to shoot back that's like, that is a great idea. It will also be extra. Here's how we can work together towards that. Number 3 reason, writing proposals is a heck of a lot easier. Sarah, who is the head of the Ashlyn Writes agency over here, said this and I loved it. It's a spicy take and I'm here for it. She said, if you cannot get a proposal out the door in under 30 minutes, it's too custom. Yes and amen. Stay tuned for the second part of this video. I'm gonna tell you a little bit of the ins and outs of how we found we can provide people with that high-end experience and feeling like they are a special snowflake because they are in some capacities, but also not completely cannibalize all of our systems in the process. Reason number 4, sales calls are easier. Can I get an amen? Don't we all want sales calls to be easier? You can skip that freak out moment on the call where you're not quite sure how to bring in the price, or you think I need to go back to the drawing board and do a bunch of calculations before I can get them the price. No, it's so much stronger on a sales call if you're able to say, wow, thank you. That's exactly what we do. I think this would be a good fit for you and here's the price. If you can do that on a sales call, dynamic, huge change in your business. I know this because I also used to do the palm sweat. I just need to abort the situation and get off this call because I don't like saying the number and looking in the camera at the person I'm talking to, but it's a game changer when you can learn to do that. Totally. Reason number 5, because then you can be seen more as the expert. Being able to have a specific productized service gives off a little less jack of all trades vibes. Think about it like a car wash. When I know I need a car wash, the end result is clear, right? I need a clean car. But when I pull up, I see a menu of different ways and means that I could get to my end result. I could go this price point, I could go this price point, or I could dial it on up, do all the bells and whistles and go that way. That's a simplistic model, but I want you to see what the takeaway is there. Are your offers, even as a service provider, so clear that people can essentially self-select and understand where they fall in the lineup? Also, just a good rule of thumb on clarity. My friend Julie said this last week and I loved it. You don't get to decide if something is clear or not. It's the client or the customer who's ultimately the decider, yes, that's clear. Simply because something is 100% custom doesn't mean it's better. In fact, as you grow your business, you may see what I saw, that over time, it was the totally customized projects that kind of got the short end of the stick because I didn't have a process for it. I was shooting from the hip. I was not stepping in being the expert that I know the client needed. Number 6, this makes your web copy so much easier. Look below if you've never seen my services page guide. It's a freebie download. Be sure to grab it. And number 7, you're referable. I can say she's the go-to girl or he's the go-to guy for XYZ, and I can point a finger and tell people to go to you. If you're not productized, sometimes that is a little bit harder. That's not a hard and fast rule. It just applies in a lot of cases. All right, let's get to part 2. How do you actually productize your service? I've given you these 7 reasons you may want to productize your service. Here's how to do it. Number 1, go through every single task in your client process. This may take a couple of rounds of executing and populate them in a tool like Asana. Remember what I said too, you want to write out next to it exactly how much to the 15-minute mark that it takes. To give you an idea of about how many this would be, our 2 signature copywriting processes are about 6 to 8 weeks of a timeline period. They involve a shiz ton of research. Like I said, this is a very white glove experience. For each of those, we have about 100 tasks each. We offer some smaller services. We call them our lipstick offers. They're more around the $4,000 or $5,000-ish mark. Those have less tasks, but we still average around 10 tasks a week. Again, I was talking to Sarah, our head of agency, before I filmed this video, and she said, you just have to stick to your SOPs until you feel like a robot. Another tip, give every single thing 2 deadlines, one internal and then one that's actually client facing, even if you're the only person in your business. Do not aim to send things out to the client before you've had a day to let it rest and review internally first. Next tip, you'd think this goes without saying, but always, period, meet your deadlines. You would be amazed at the number of people out there that just don't meet deadlines in a timely fashion or consider them just flexible a little bit. I could go on and on with this one, but I'll just jump to the next tip. Say you do want them to have some sort of a special snowflake feel, and yes, every project, every client project is a little bit different and there's some nuance. We found a great way to work with that by having like an a la carte menu. How can you give them ways to kind of make a variation on a theme and enhance or tailor their project, but still within your specified confines of time. And my last tip, definitely be ready to have this line. There's that template again, ready to go. Because while yes, you're going to surprise and delight and add value that you're just giving away because you're enjoying the client experience and it's baked in time that you're aware of, that's important to do, but you do need to have that upsell line ready, because if something does truly fall into that scope creep area, you need to be able to respond appropriately. I'm hard pressed to find when you shouldn't productize your service, but there are a few instances. The best solutions that I found over time with this is making sure that you have some way for people to tailor their time with you, or just get a little bit of your time. Whether you have power hours or strategy calls, or I can buy a half day or a full day with you, that's so valuable. We actually just today got a contract signed in for a little week-long project that we're doing to a client that we've worked with, lordy me, maybe like 6 or 7 times at this point. So you do need to be able to have that option, especially if it's somebody that you have a long-standing relationship with. 2 extra videos I'll mention that may help you here. I did a video on my sales call process. I'll link that below. I've also done a video on how I conducted day rates over the years, VIP days. They were so fun. I learned a lot through the process. Go catch that video too. I am borderline obsessive about my time in my business, mainly because I'm a mama and I love being able to be offline and with my family. This means I've definitely got to have systems in place. I teach them inside my program, The Art of Efficiency, which is relaunching soon. Look down below to get on the wait list. And remember, the big point of this video, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You're an expert in what you do as a studied craftsperson of it. Make sure that you're giving your clients the best experience by getting as much of your brain as possible on their project, which you can absolutely do by productizing or putting into a system your brain. Hop on that wait list. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.